Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. We are Doc and Mav of ReadySetCrypto. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of December. Welcome aboard. Glad to see everybody out there. Please let us know where you're coming in from. Where's your location? Where are you joining us from today? And also don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Please go ahead and smash the like so that we can get the algorithm defeated and let everybody know that we're getting started here. Hey, good afternoon, Barry DGB, Barry Digibyte. Good morning, good afternoon. All right, everybody, let us know where you're coming in from, and we'll get started here momentarily. Okay, we have Sacramento, we have the Netherlands, we have Granville, Ohio, we have Cambridge, UK. Is that where they have the Bridge of Sighs, or is that Oxford? No, that's Oxford.
Be able to help with that one.
No, that's Oxford. Somebody knows it. Oh, let's see. Bull Trap. Unfortunately, I don't know where that is. Suriname, Miami, Nigeria, Killeen, Texas, Netherlands. Good afternoon. Hey, a little shout out for the Netherlands. Congratulations to Max Verstappen, Formula One champion, world champion.
What a nail biter, huh?
That was amazing. That was the most exciting sporting event I think I've ever seen. Also props to Lewis Hamilton for handling this with grace. He actually got knighted today from Prince Charles. Short on there. So he is Sir Lewis Hamilton. All right. Slovenia, Tampa, Florida, Philippines. Nicholas is having a baby, man. All right.
Congrats. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Krypton Rona. Yeah, I know. I'm just having fun with you here. All right, we got New York checking in. Uh-oh, we've already got people throwing down smack on Verstappen. Didn't deserve it. Okay.
Oh, boy.
That didn't take long.
Yeah.
That didn't take long. What, 30 seconds?
All the only thing more tribalistic than crypto is F1.
Formula One, right?
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got out here. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today. We are Doc and Mav of ReadySetCrypto. We are here. Winter is here, but not for long. All right. Please review Omizigo. Okay, we can. You know what? I'll warn you guys, kind of like last week, I did a session last week looking at the market, and everything looked the same. Everything looked terrible. And so it was like one after another after another. Now, today may be a little bit different. We're seeing a little bit of a bounce. We'll get into this in a minute. But if there is a specific coin or currency pair you want me to look at, please let me know now, lest you get left out, because come the bottom of the hour, we're going to be like... Cinderella jumping into a pumpkin or whatever and taking off. So get your coins in. Oxford is the Bridge of Sighs. Okay, sorry about that, man. Didn't mean to. I don't know if I've been to Cambridge. I've been to Duxford. Which is damn near Cambridge, but I don't think I've actually been to Cambridge proper. All right. Okay, so Mav, you got anything do you want to share with us today?
Well, as you kind of just hinted at, we are seeing a rather recent bounce in BTC. So let's get into that. That will be kind of the main thing we talk about today. Just in terms of what's causing it, what does it mean, and what did we learn not that long ago? So the thing is, there is a Fed meeting, and at that, they talked about how they were going to raise interest rates and curtail their bond buying program for 2022. And this is basically the market reacting to that. So, Doc, you kind of follow equities a little bit more. So what are you seeing kind of from the equity side of things as well?
Equities have been fairly strong up till recently. We're starting to see some risk coming into the small caps, which are more of the risky assets, and that can be kind of a canary in the coal mine for fund managers trying to get out of their positions. So I'm seeing a very, very nervous market. We dropped by 5% in the equities right now, and people are losing their minds. This is very similar to what I would consider to be topping behavior, but not before we get one final screaming run, I think, in equities. So I think crypto might get a parasitic side effect from that as well, too. You know, risk assets, when markets explode higher, everybody's looking to get their capital in play, and crypto will also benefit from that, I think. But then at some point next year, we're going to diverge. I think equities will diverge from what crypto is doing. I think crypto will stay strong into next year as people figure out, maybe the future is digital assets. Maybe it's not banks and things like that. So I think that's going to be happening. Next year is going to be fascinating when it comes to financial markets.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think we're going to see both markets kind of be beholden, but ultimately react differently to some of these macro trends that we've been watching over the last couple of years. You know, obviously pandemic is one of them. That's why we saw some reaction to the Omicron stuff. But now the big boogeyman is inflation, and, you know, just how do we get these economies of the world moving in the right direction while also continuing to print massive amounts of money. So at this point, we're going to continue to see both the equities and the crypto markets kind of beholden to that. But where they start to diverge, as Doc is talking about, is when the market gets an appetite for sort of risk on again. That's where we see them start to move in towards a greedy sort of risk on, being able to take risks and go after things like NFTs and DeFi and those really speculative bets, because they believe that the market's going to be supportive of that's going to, pay dividends down the road. People who are selling right now are likely going to regret it at some point in the near future, because that's kind of what we see around this time of the year. And especially in relation to things like inflation, especially with today's announcement, that are going to push prices higher. It's definitely going to be more the case that we're going to see deflationary assets like Bitcoin start to really come into their own when we get into this just more and more inflationary environment. So this is definitely the time to be stacking sats, to be, looking for diversification between markets, but ultimately getting away from the fiat-based system where everything is continuing to be devalued and inflated, because the only solution at the disposal of the Fed right now is continuing to print money and hoping the problem will go away, but it won't. So we're quickly seeing a very different kind of market kind of evolve from that. So, Doc, what are you kind of seeing from more of the technical perspective, the charting? What's going on in the candlesticks today?
Funny you should ask that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here at the charts. Okay, so what we've been watching for is BTC versus the US dollar. I'm going to start off with this one. I'll show Ethereum as well, and then I will get into y'all's list of assets that you guys want to take a look at. So probably the best way to look at this is from this perspective. Now, just to give you an idea, we've already been through, in the spring, we went through a pullback that was like this. And so it wouldn't be untoward, it would not be out of character to see it actually pull down to 32, believe it or not. That would be a very similar pullback to here. But we don't have to do that. The price does not have to do that. As long as it stays above 40,000 right now, we still have a primary uptrend in the weekly chart, which is all good. Now, let me go down to smaller time frames. So a lot of you are like, well, what's going to happen? Is this going to bounce? What's going to happen? Guess what? I tell you what, guys, I do not know. I do not know if something's going to bounce or if it's going to stay strong into tomorrow. All I can do is look at the charts and understand what levels that would have to be broken for this to turn around. So let's get back into that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start going down to the hourly chart. Right, so this is the hourly chart on Bitcoin. And actually, well, there's good news here because we're getting a nice high volume. We've just put in a higher low, higher high. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is the 5-hour chart. So learn to understand what's happening at these different time frames. We're showing lower highs and lower lows on the 5-hour chart, and now we're starting to bounce off the bottom. So quite clearly, what's going to have to happen is for this reversal to get anywhere, it's got to get above 51,000 and then put in some type of higher low and then start the process with a reversal to the upside. So watch 51,000 for right now. Most people are just sitting there at the daily chart, just waiting for something to happen. But instead of that, look at the smaller time frame charts and map out what prices would have to do. And then as it starts to break out, you can put the hammer down on this. So that's BTC versus the US dollar. Again, really weak November so far. But when you compare that versus what happened back here, again, compare that versus what happened here. Back in the beginning of 2018, we absolutely got slaughtered. It was just an absolute reflection of what got it there. Compare that versus what's happening now. This is much more orderly. This is much more of a buyer strike, if you will. So I don't see this as the beginning of the market cratering. It would have already gone down to probably the green line by now if it was truly wanting to sell off. Okay, so keep in mind, and this is where it's difficult because you're going to read all the wrong stuff in the mass media, which is going to lead you to believe that, it's all going to go to zero. So from here, let's go over to Ethereum. Ethereum is a much healthier chart. This is actually a nice consolidation. Let's go down to the daily chart and see what's going on here. Nice move today. It's holding the 50% fib. And by the same token, we can also watch the 5-hour chart and see what's happening here. On the 5-hour chart is we were making lower highs and lower lows, and we're bouncing up real strong today. So what has to happen is the price has got to get above 4,200. 4,200 is the key for Ethereum. And we can see just across the rest of the market, I don't have time to go into all of these, but a lot of very strong moves. I think this is Mav went into Matic yesterday as part of his the Omnia newsletter. And I think just because of that, we've had that explosion higher in price. So you just never know what's going to happen to that. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go into your list. The first one that we had was Omizigo. Omizigo. I'm trying to do the Japanese pronunciation of this and failing miserably at it. But Omizigo is a miserable chart right now. You can see that this clearly has broken trend. And since mid-November, this has been just slaughtered. Just all assets that don't have intrinsic value are just getting destroyed right now. So what's going to happen for this one? I wouldn't buy this down at the bottom. What I would wait for is to see the resumption of some type of a weekly trend. You got to be patient for this one. Don't try to pick the bottom down here. You can get hurt doing that. Okay, so that's Omizigo. Quickly, I'm going to go through SYS, and I'm going to look at this versus US dollar at this point. This is actually Syscoin. This looks very good. This is a very strong chart, has been. Look at assets that are strong when everything else is weak. Look at Omizigo versus this. Syscoin's very strong right now. So I like this chart a lot. And it's relatively inexpensive. There's a number of places that you can, let's go back to SYS. There's a number of places that this is traded. We'll just look at Binance here. Binance looks about the same. Sometimes you can have a different chart depending on what exchange you go to. But that looks very strong. That's a very nice looking chart. Okay, track. There was a couple of requests for track versus BTC. I'll do the US dollar first. Oh, that looks not too good. We have something in a primary downtrend. That does not look good versus the US dollar. Let's see if it improves if we trade this versus BTC. So origin trail versus Bitcoin. And this looks slightly better. However, what I would do is it depends on what's going to happen with BTC here. I would wait until this gives a primary uptrend. Right now, this is a primary downtrend. And I don't want to buy things that are in primary downtrend. So for regardless of all you people out there that are wanting to buy low and low and low and dollar cost averaging, I want to buy things that are heading higher in price. I'm more impatient. Okay, so that's my thought on there. So versus BTC has a better looking chart, but both of these are in primary downtrends. Next one we're going to go to is COTI versus the US dollar, and we'll go Binance here. And once again, this is very similar to what we're seeing on just about everything out there. Primary downtrend. So this one is a broken chart. What I would do is I would wait for this to fix itself. Buy things that are heading higher in price, not buy things that are heading lower in price. If you want just a quick, that's a quick fix for just about any portfolio. Don't buy things that are heading lower unless it's already in a massive uptrend. Okay, next one was, what is this? Avalanche versus the US dollar. Let's try this one. AVAX. All right, this one, it looks pretty good. It's still on a weekly chart. This is a primary uptrend. Right now, it's going through a daily downtrend. So what I would do is I would be a little bit more cautious on this one. For this guy, I would wait for this descending trend line to be broken, whether it's either on this initial move or off of a higher low, higher high combination. That would actually be better, because markets often have to go lower before they will go higher. So people have got to be, and this is why investing can be so hard, because if you fall in with the herd, if you get affected by all the negativity by everybody else, you're going to make the same decision as everybody else, and you're not going to see the opportunities that are out there that seem to be going against logic. Okay, so that's AVAX. Next one I had here was QANX. I think we do this one every week. And I can't do it versus BTC, so I could try to chart this, but there's no symbols that are out there that allow me to do this through TradingView. So the only way I can do this is through wrapped ether. And it's kind of an okay chart, but this to me looks like a bear flag, unfortunately. That looks like a consolidation pattern in the midst of a downtrend. Probably is going to break in this direction. But certainly anything can happen when it comes to price. But right now that chart pattern shows bearish. So we'll see. Let's see, there's another couple of ones that caught on here. Let's see, and then we'll wrap things up for today. So let's see, Epic. Stephen is asking for Epic, EPIK. We'll just do Ether Tether here. Okay, so not a very good looking chart at all. It's seems to be very news centric and has lost its trend. There was no trend to begin with on this thing, so literally impossible to chart this. What I would do is, lacking a trend, the simplest thing that you can do is buy when it comes down to the lows and then sell when it gets up to the highs. That's the simplest thing that you can do if it's range bound like this. And next one that is coming in is KDA versus the US dollars. So Kadena. And we'll just do this one here. Again, this is a broken chart. This is broken trend. This one was doing great, and it looked like it was setting up, but this is actually a descending triangle pattern, which is broken down from there. So you want to see these types of patterns making some attempt to break out from here, even if it's to a lower high. and there was none at all. So it just sort of fell out of the bottom. This is a broken chart. I would wait for it to start to establish the uptrend again. Buy things that are heading higher. Don't want to be a broken record here, but if there's one thing that'll help you guys, it is that. Okay. All right. I'm seeing Clay, Klay versus, let's do that versus Tether, if that's okay. This chart can't get out of its own way right now. It seemed to have a quick, that looked like a new spike or a pump and dump kind of thing setting up. This is maybe building a base here. This is maybe building a base, but I would wait until this breaks heavily over $2 on big volume. Look for big volume on here, breaking out above $2. And then the measured move target is really the depth of this. So it's between 1 and 2. So that's a $2 move. So this would have a measured move here up to 3. So measured move target $3. Okay, V-Chain. And we'll just do a couple more here, guys. V-Chain versus the US dollar is a broken chart. This is a broken chart and is about to go back into a death cross. So V-Chain, again, don't try to pick the bottom. What I would do is you can, a couple of different ways to do this. You can look for a break above here, wait till this puts in a higher low, wait till this starts to trend to the upside on a weekly chart. It is not there yet. This is a broken chart. Okay, Harmony versus the US dollar. This is another broken chart, unfortunately, guys. So this is what we're seeing with everything else. This is very similar to what Bitcoin's doing here. So watch for this to break out above here, but wait until it reestablishes the trend. So once it broke this existing uptrend with a lower high, lower low, there's your change in polarity. This is a weekly downtrend right now. So wait until it starts to trend higher. Don't try to pick the bottom on this one. I'm saying the same thing here, but we have a lot of charts that look exactly the same. Okay, ORN. We've only seen one really good chart so far. ORN, this one, another chart failure to the downside. I'm just going to go through these really quickly. DeFi chain is, at least it's in a primary uptrend. That's a pretty wicked pullback here, but this, as long as this low holds at 360, because what I'm seeing here is this is a swing test. This is a swing test. So boom, there's your swing. As long as 360 holds and it continues to trend higher, this one is not too bad. Okay, that is, which one is that? DeFi. Okay, DFL. DeFi land. Oh, that is a seriously broken chart. I would avoid until this thing starts to trend higher. Okay, Nexo. And again, don't take my comments here as any kind of editorial on the value or worth of your project. This is purely price analysis. What I'm doing here is I'm telling you what the market thinks of your project, not me. So I'm giving my thoughts on what the market thinks of this. This one, I would also wait for this descending trend line to break to the upside. Because right now this is in a primary downtrend. Okay, that was Nexo. I think we did one O&E. Yeah, we did Harmony already. SLP. And we just got a couple of minutes left here, guys. A couple of minutes left. So I'll get in the ones I can. This is a primary downtrend. This is a void. KAI versus the US dollar. Is this Kardashian chain? What is this? Cardia chain. I almost read that wrong. This is kind of a broken chart. I would wait for this one to once again reestablish the uptrend. Right now, don't try to pick the bottom on that. Okay, and here's the last one I'm going to do for tonight, guys. Gala versus US dollar. Okay, this is almost setting up. I mean, one thing that I'm concerned by is that tried to break out here. This is a lower high setting up, but that's a higher low. So if this is able to stop and reverse right now, then it's good. Otherwise, this is a broken chart heading lower with a lower high change in polarity to a downtrend. So it has the opportunity, if it's able to break out above, say, like 60 cents, then it's okay. Otherwise, if it continues on this kind of flaggy looking trajectory to the downside, I would say avoid until further notice. All right, that is it for the charts, guys. We're going to go back to Mav over there.
Hello.
And any final thoughts on, or any other questions that you need to answer there, Mav?
Yeah, so two projects people requested I look into are Amisco, the ticker OMG. Honestly, I would stay away from this one. It was a project that was a darling in 2017, primarily because they were one of the first projects that was working directly with Ethereum to kind of address a lot of the scalability issues, which are something we're seeing a lot of these days. You know, a lot of projects are working on layer 2, a lot of projects are working on scalability and, you know, just being able to be cross-chain and all this sort of stuff, you know, addressing the key issues that have held back layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So Amisco kind of had like some special sauce. They were working direct, like Vitalik was like directly involved at some point or indirectly involved. Just like they had a lot of good things going for them. They had a really like vocal and visible CEO, all this sort of stuff. But the problem is they never really evolved out of that. And once 2017 ended and we went into a bear market, people didn't really care about layer 2 and scalability anymore. They just wanted gains. So it sort of fell off the radar. And quite honestly, they haven't done a whole lot since then. You know, they've been trying to do some releases and whatnot, but the only reason you're probably bringing this up is because we saw OMG do a massive spike about a month ago, mid-November, when all of the market was selling off. It was like one of the only ones around the top 100 that was green for the day. And that was because Boba Network did a snapshot, like an airdrop of OMG, and people basically, because of that, it pumped from like $2 to $20, and then it immediately like crashed. So all that tells me is that there's nothing really substantial there anymore. And it's just kind of one of those ones that has somehow stuck around. But I would consider it, if not a dead project, it's kind of on its last legs. Now, the other one people asked me to look at was Unique Network, which I initially was like, this is the worst named project I've seen since, well, some of the other ones we've talked about recently, but not great because the SEO on that alone is, you're not going to be able to find that on Google very easily. But their ticker is RMRK. And if you actually kind of look into what they're doing, I do like a lot of what's going on here. So they were originally a NFT marketplace play. They were doing some really advanced NFT stuff, cross-chain NFTs, really cool things like that. Now they're integrating a lot of this like DeFi plus NFT stuff, and they're trying to incorporate like currency on the metaverse. And so right there, that should tell you that this is a project that is hitting all the big trends right now. It's the big buzzwords. And, you know, they've got 10 million supply. They've got all of that in circulation. There's no vesting or VCs. And I think there's a good amount of utility in it right now. People are calling it the open sea of like Kusama and Polkadot. I don't know if that's quite accurate, but there's a lot to like here. So, you know, and especially because they also have funding as well. So I think there's good possibility that it can break into the top 100. I think it's at like 170, or no, sorry, that was 190 right now. Yeah, so it's just inside the top 200, and it's doing pretty well comparatively to some of the other coins out there. So yeah, I think it's a play on some of the biggest trends in the space right now. Is it going to be the next Omisco, or is it going to be the next Solana or whatever? I don't know. It's still too early for that one, but they've got a lot of good things going for them. So thanks for asking for us to check into those. But yeah, guys, today is clearly dominated by just a little bit of a bounce in Bitcoin and speculation of where are things going to go from here. And quite honestly, I think we're just going to see some chop for a while. We're going to continue to see the markets kind of beholden to things like inflation, things, just some of these economic indicators until we get back into greedy sort of market that is, risk on, wants to be speculative, wants to take some risk. It's just going to be kind of like this for a little bit, but that's what we saw in the summer, and very clearly it rebounded from there. So, if this is one of those times for the market to take a breather, kind of catch up, and time to invest in some quality, I think you'll be thanking yourself when things turn around and we get back into a market that's more supportive of some of these projects. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We do this every week, and in particular, we run a service, a community on top of this. So Doc runs ReadySet.trade. It's a service all about how to trade the markets, how to trade more effectively, how to navigate, some of the charting that he just talked about, and how to be more effective going into the new year and basically make trading a source of income for yourself. So if that's at all interesting, we're having a holiday sale on all of his courses on our service. It's really just a great place to start learning how to trade more effectively. So
we have 1,600 people in our community now. Yeah. So 1,600 people under our free community. You can join for free. Yeah. Or if you want if you want to accelerate things and want to get moving along, we certainly have, additional resources for those that want to commit.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely quite a deal for what you're getting. There's a lot there. Even if you just want to sign up and, dip your toe in the water and see what's about, we give you a lot. So it's worth your time just to check out, if nothing else. We're also running a new community called ReadySet.vision, which is all about on-chain analysis, which is something that our good friend and other member of the team, Checkmate, runs, as well as being a employee of Glassnode and talking about what's going on the market from like a big macro perspective, using blockchain data to kind of analyze that and do really interesting stuff. If you've ever heard about like Plan B's stock to flow model and how that's predicting Bitcoin to be above 100K or 500K by a certain date, that's where that comes from, is using sort of past statistical models and using some of the on-chain blockchain data to kind of predict where things are going and help you outsmart the market. So
is he also the one guy in crypto that's about the same height as you?
That is true. Actually, Crypto Crow is like over 7 feet, which I did not expect that. But he's a massive dude.
Can we just let that name go away?
Yeah.
Let's just let that name go away.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the end of the year and getting ready for the next one. I think it's been quite a year in crypto. And honestly, I think we're just getting started. The next 10 years of crypto are going to be absolutely tremendous. This is the place to be. This is the sort of movement and technology. I think that's going to be part of what comes next. So getting on the ground floor of that, as before everybody else gets in the door, I think you're in a very good place.
You're still early. You're still early.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you're not like super early. You're not like Bitcoin pizza guy anymore. You're not that early, but you're not late either. You're here just in time for things to start to go really well. I think that's people who got in 2017 also got in early, but it was maybe a little bit of the wrong place or right place, wrong time. But it depends on how long you want to invest and hold. Regardless, this is a space that represents innovation and change, and investing in that and having a long-term perspective is a great way to go about that. Or, taking the short-term, more trading approach like Doc does. There's no way to do it wrong, so long as you're doing your research and taking things rationally. So anyways, guys, days like today, just take it easy. But, that's what we're here for. That's what this community represents, is being level-headed and not getting too emotional about things. So if you want to join us, we also have a free Discord down in the bio below, and we do these streams every Wednesday. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of the stream, and we'll see you next week. But until then, take care, guys. Cheers.
See you, everybody. You guys take care. Be good.